Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Confessions of an Everyday Cook. I am Morgan. Today we're going to be making a smoked brisket. We're going to be doing this on a Traeger smoker. And a brisket is a very large piece of meat. We're going to be cooking it for over 16 hours. Yeah, I know, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. But what's good about it is that we're just going to kind of stick it on the smoker, let it do its thing, and the rest of the time I can sleep. Alright, so let's go grab our stuff and let's get started. Here's the star. Let's see, how big is this thing? I think it's 12-ish pounds, if I remember right. So this is a big hunk of meat. Let's go ahead and get this started. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to trim some of the fat off. There's a couple places on the brisket that's gonna have a really thick fat flap, and so we want to take some of that off because not all of it is going to cook down. So right here, right off the bat, I can see that there's a really big fat line here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. So you want to leave enough of fat on here that it's going to season the meat during the cooking process. So I would say you probably want to leave about a 1/4 inch of it left, but we'll see where this takes us. So on your brisket, you're going to notice there's this big pocket of fat right here. And so you want to cut a lot of that out. And again, you only want to leave about a 1/4 of an inch of this fat left, but you want to get a good bit of this out. Look at that, that's all fat. So while I'm doing this, I'm just gonna briefly talk about the entire cooking process. That way you kind of know what you're getting into. We're gonna season this with just salt and pepper, keeping it real simple. We're gonna place it on the smoker at 195 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 hours. Then we're going to turn the Traeger up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to wrap our brisket in butcher paper. You can also use aluminum foil. Let it go for another 8 hours. And then at that point, we're going to take the brisket off, let it rest for about an hour or two in a dry cooler, and then we'll be ready to eat. So this is all done. I got as much fat as I want to get off of it. So what we're going to do is I have some salt and pepper here. I did about half salt, half pepper, both coarse grind. And we're just going to liberally season this. Make sure you're getting all the nooks and crannies. And you're going to want to use more than you think. So when I think about salting and peppering something, I'm like, oh, just lightly put stuff on. But this you want to liberally season. That way we're going to create a nice bark on it when it's smoking. Just kind of pat it in there with your hands. This is all good to go. I've made a very thorough mess. I'm gonna clean this up. But we're gonna let this sit here for at least 2 hours. That way the seasoning can really get a chance to penetrate into the meat, but also to let the meat come slightly more to room temperature. So I'll clean up and I'll see you in 2 hours. Okay, so the meat has been resting for about 2 hours. I'm here out on my Traeger smoker. It is currently at 195, and I do have a really cool feature. I have super smoke going, so we're gonna go ahead and put our brisket on. We have it back side down with the point headed towards the heat. I'm gonna close this up, and we're gonna leave it for 8 hours, so I'm gonna go to bed. See y'all in the morning. Okay, so our brisket has been on overnight. It's a little less than 8 hours. And we just want to wrap it really tight in butcher paper. You can also use foil, but my husband was sweet and got me butcher paper specifically for this. So we just want to wrap this really, really tight. We have 2 layers of it. It's about at 150 right now, which is right where we want it to be. We're gonna stick it back on the smoker. We're gonna turn the smoker up just a little bit to 250, and we're gonna let this go until the internal temperature reaches about 202. I'm expecting this next step will probably also be 8 hours. Go back to bed. Okay, this has been going for another 8 hours. The internal temperature needs to be at least 200. Mine's hitting at about 202 right now. So we're gonna take it out and we're gonna place it in a dry cooler. So I got a good sized cooler. We're not gonna put anything in it. We just want it to hold the heat in. And you wanna keep it wrapped in there. That way it's still gonna hold all the juices in. And that's it. We're going to let it sit in there for at least an hour. I'm probably gonna let it sit for closer to 2. That way it has time to rest and then we can cut into it. So see you in a bit. Okay, this is finally done after over 18 hours. It's done, so let's go ahead and take a peek at it. Yes! Ah, look at that! Oh, this bark is perfect. Yes! All right, we're gonna start cutting on the flat end. All right. Yes! Look, it's got a super nice smoke ring. It's nice and tender. Like, oh, just like squeezing that, there's like juice coming off. Oh, honey, come try some. Holy cow, that is so yummy. What do you think? Okay, that's amazing. I'm just gonna smoke meat now for the rest of my life. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe as well as turn on those notifications. That way you're not going to miss a single episode. Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Confessions of an Everyday Cook. See you next time. Bye!